Greetings again. So I'm going to go through a quick ControlNet tutorial. If you're again, if you're watching these videos for whatever reason, I'm Dr. Caleb Bradbury. I'm trying to do a series on just like everyday AI and stuff you could do with AI tools that, again, a lot of people don't like. It gets really complicated to mess with all these tools. There's a lot of jargon, all that fun stuff. So I'm just trying to demystify some of it. You might have seen some people like, or you've seen some apps that can convert like your image into effectively like an optical illusion. So that's what we're going to go through today. This also gives me a chance to properly install Stable Diffusion, or have Stable Diffusion installed, but get ControlNet set up. I can record that, show you how to set up ControlNet, and how to use it a little bit. We'll get into a little bit of prompt engineering, as I don't know if that's the right word or not, but we're going to have to come up with a prompt to get the star field, or we could do like an image transfer thing, but let's just try a prompt and try to like get this replicated. So there's me with my beautiful hair on the right there, and then over here is the star field, which again, this was all just generated through Stable Diffusion. So we're not going to replicate this exactly, but I did download another fun image from my college days here. Rocking the Halo 2 shirt there, because wow, I'm looking at my monitor with my floating head there, and wow, time really catches you. Anyway, I'm not here to, yeah, okay, whatever. We're gonna have some fun with this image though. So that's the image we're gonna try to style transfer. We might try like a volcano or something, maybe lightning. We can do the star field again. We'll tinker around. Over here, listed out all the steps that we need to go through here, but mostly for my own sanity. So let me just minimize it because I see my face over there on that monitor. So if you followed the guides up to this point, you should have basic Stable Diffusion installed. I forgot where I installed it, so I went through all this slightly before on a different computer. But when I was going through the first video, I extracted it to my downloads folder. So downloads, and then it's WebUI 18, WebUI 180. That's going to matter in a little bit because we got to download some ControlNet models and throw them into the extensions. You'll notice right now, if you've looked at ControlNet tutorials, it tells you to put it in a folder called extensions, WebUI ControlNet. That doesn't exist. That's because we have a vanilla Stable Diffusion installation. So we need to install ControlNet, and then we could do the rest of this. So let's start Stable Diffusion. Again, if you installed Python, installed automatic, or downloaded automatic, and downloaded the checkpoint, all this should just work. So WebUI bat file, that'll launch the web. It's a web server that lets me interface with Stable Diffusion without having to send command line or Python scripts to do stuff. So it takes it a second. Again, as I always rant about this computer, not the greatest, but once it's running, the GPUs take over, and that's really what we want. So we'll keep an eye on all this here. It really wants me to use transformers, and I'm not using it. Sorry, not happening on this tutorial anyway. All right, so again, I launched WebUI.bat, took a couple seconds to launch, and here's our basic graphical user interface here. We're gonna use this EMA only checkpoint. We'll look at that fine tune in another video that I had there, but right now we're just gonna use the base model that we have been using on the other. I guess I've only done one video at this point on Stable Diffusion, but that's what we're gonna use there. Hopefully. Stable Diffusion failed to load model. Model loaded. Okay, it loaded it. Let's just test that to make sure. So we'll just say like Hubble Ultra Deep Field. You've probably seen that image before. It's that shot from, I think, 96. Sagan told them to point the Hubble at a section of the space, and it looks like that. So Hubble Ultra Deep Field. We'll clean it up a little bit there, but that's how we get started with that. So that gives us a basis for a prompt. We will go over to a different website to kind of fine tune the prompt, just to get what we want. But right now, we've already crushed like 2 of these steps. Start Stable Diffusion. We'll get a better prompt, but we got something that kind of works right now. Next part, this is going to be the hardest or easiest part, maybe not the easiest, but sometimes the extensions with automatic do not play nice. We want to get specifically this version or this implementation of ControlNet. A couple different ways you could do this. Stable Diffusion has stuff available from their GitHub repository, or we could just install it from the URL. Just because I want to make sure that this tutorial goes pretty well, I'm going to install it from this URL. So we go over to extensions, install from URL, URL for the Git repository. If you ever hear me say the phrase Git repo, it's referring to this right here. It's all this code right here. And this will let us, well, actually, that's a good image of what ControlNet does. It lets you take an image and then repose them using AI. So that's how like we can get really cool deep fake stuff. We'll probably do that in the next video. This one's just all about sort of style transfer, transfer learning, and how we can use ControlNet to manipulate images, image to image. So that's how we're ultimately going to make Joe Biden and Donald Trump have a romantic moment. Again, nothing that'll get me kicked off YouTube or anything, but like French kissing or something. We'll see where life takes us with these tutorials. Because, again, I find the politics absurd. But that's not for this discussion. So GitHub repo. We're using the SD web ControlNet. Back here then, specific branch name. Honestly, that should just install it. If you want to see what it's actually doing behind the like curtains here. So it generated the image, and hopefully it should tell us something here on the console, I would think. Maybe not. I very rarely mess with these extensions. I have like folders dedicated to different implementations of Stable Diffusion. This is just like my teaching repository. So I guess I get to vamp for a few seconds while it installs. Yeah. While that runs then, a couple other things we need to get while that, I guess, runs, installs. We got to make sure that it actually installs, so that's going to be our next step. We got to download these ControlNet models as well. So in order to make ControlNet work, of course, we need the neural net model weights as well. I've already downloaded those, but there's a couple different places you can. I've downloaded a couple of those. The one that we're going to use, this is from a different tutorial. I don't even remember where I saw the tutorial. When I find it, I will link it. I'm not trying to steal anybody's work here. But they were using this particular one. I thought that was cool, and I just wanted to replicate it. Specifically, we needed the QR monster safe tensors. The checkpoint will work as well. It's just safe tensors is smaller, and it's more secure versus the pickle file. Don't worry about that. Again, if you're watching this, don't worry about that. Get the safe tensors file. And you also need the YAML file. That just is sort of like an instruction set telling Stable Diffusion what to do with this. Like I said, I've already downloaded them, so got them right there. But I'm going to download a few more just to have them. And again, I'll put all these links bottom of the video. So a few more of these ControlNet models. Again, it's pretty easy to download them on Hugging Face. We'll get like Shuffle. We'll download Tile, with Depth, Canny, and Paint, Line Art. Just some stuff to mess with here. Open Pose. It should be enough for now. Those are all the safe tensor files, and then ControlNet LoRa. So those are LoRa's. Yeah, let's just use the LoRa's for now. Don't low rank adaptation if you know what you're talking like versus the actual like neural net. We'll talk about that later. So we'll just use the LoRa's right now. Didn't mean to click on that. Boop, close that. So if we look at, again, they've already downloaded. So we got those downloaded as well. We'll see if this thing is, okay, it looks like it probably installed. It's not churning anymore. Oh yeah, there's a command line did some stuff. Warning, failed to install hands, finder, repo, some processors installed. Okay. I think it installed. It didn't throw a big old scary error, so looks like it installed. Next thing we got to do then is just basically restart it, and there should be like a yeah, when you install something on automatic, if you use an extension, you just click this apply and restart, and that'll literally just reset the Python launcher, and it'll just restart it. Takes a few seconds again. I'll do a couple more things here. It's a little worrisome about the access. It's not. We'll see what that, excuse me, did not mean to, yeah. Well, again, we'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I've been recording like 9 minutes. I'll just delete this video and start over. But yeah, we just got to wait on this to fire back up. Well, that does that then. Like I said, we downloaded some files. So we should now in our extensions folder. So again, I had mine in downloads, WebUI 18, WebUI 180. And then in extensions, we should now have our ControlNet folder. That was not there before. And that is where we are going to put our models. I believe it goes exactly in the models folder. I had the notes there. I'm going to throw in the models folder just because I feel like that's where they should go. And if it breaks, we'll move it around. But I'm pretty sure that's where they go. So let's go back to my downloads here. Downloads. So again, I'm just going to throw all these. I'm going to Control X for cut. and then go back to SD18, root folder, extensions, ControlNet, models. There we go. We got the train to the station. Okay, so those are there. Okay, yeah, Web UI is doing its thing down there. All right, well, that still launches. Next thing we gotta do then is this. You don't have to do this, but it'll make it easier if you desaturate the image that you want to manipulate. So we're gonna take my good old rocking out photo there. We're gonna use basic Windows editor. There's literally nothing to this. So let's see here. It's been a hot second since I've even used this. Probably just adjustments and saturation. It's probably the easiest way to do this. And there we go. Literally just making it black and white. So I'm just gonna save over that. Again, just that easy to make an image black and white. You don't need Photoshop. Windows has the tools built in. It is better in Photoshop, but we're not getting into like RGB wavelength manipulation and all that. So Windows editor will do it if you just need to desaturate. We're not going to use the source image on this one. So once Stable Diffusion restarts, we can actually test this. And it might have actually, it did restart. Okay. So, we should have a whole new tab down here, and we do for ControlNet. Cool. Okay. Now we got to actually do some prompt stuff here. There's a really cool website where you can actually find some cool prompt stuff. It's lexica.art. They're not paying me anything. It's just they have some cool prompts. Specifically, you're going to want to change your search parameters to Stable Diffusion 1.5. Remember I said there is a lot of support for Stable Diffusion 1.5. I'm not kidding. That's why I'm using an older version, is there is a ton of support for Stable Diffusion 1.5. So let's try like Lightning or something. Let's see what this brings up. Might bring up some like Final Fantasy stuff for the character Lightning, but hopefully the search works. And if not, we'll just Google a couple prompts and we could just, well, that works. We try something like photorealistic lightning strike with a volcano erupting. Again, let's just see what that does. And Lexica, come on, friend. Let's try lava. The search thing has never really worked well on Lexica. That is a criticism. It's a great website, but the search has just never really played nice for me. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. I'm gonna generate a few of these, just see how it looks. I'm totally like with me like doing the horns there. That'll look pretty cool. Let's go ahead and just get that seed value right there too. We're gonna write that down because we might just reuse that. If it does this consistently for a few images, we'll just use the prompt and don't worry about the seed value though. Yeah, okay, this is going to work really well. Let's add a few more parameters here. So I like to, if you use the break keyword in Stable Diffusion, it's like new line. It doesn't process it, but it lets you read it easier. So like high definition, HDR, high dynamic range, HDR, 4K, ultra definition. These are all just kind of keywords that might be that are in the training set for Stable Diffusion. There's another one, Unreal Engine. That'll give you like good looking CGI type graphics. So let's see what we get here. Again, we're just trying to generate a cool looking image that will super. That looks cool. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen Always Sunny in Philadelphia with like when he uses a laser beam. That looks cool. That looks real cool. We're gonna use that seed value too. So let's tinker with this a little bit more. If you're watching this, you're probably not terribly familiar with Stable Diffusion. Might have like watched the other video. I'm gonna actually take that seed value and use it, and we're gonna change our parameters a little bit more. So we're actually gonna start we want to make sure this image looks good for the resolution that we need to use. So I like the DPM adaptive algorithm. This is a different version of what I'm used to. DPM adaptive. So I'm gonna use that one. Some tutorials say use 30 steps. I start at 20 because DPM adaptive is pretty resource intense. We'll get into how they work, all kinds of ways different in another video. Just DPM adaptive, it's the one I like. It takes a while to crunch, but it usually produces the best realistic results. So I got the seed. Do I have the seed value? Seed value's there. I'm going to just regenerate the exact same image using DPM adaptive. Oh, I just realized my floating head is in the way. I'll just click on the image when it generates though. Like I said, DPM adaptive, it iterates like 3 or 4 times. So it's going to iterate on the first pass, and then it's going to go adapt to the pixels it generated. Oh, this is gonna look awesome. You all can't see it because my floating head is in the way, but I mean, like, come on. Like, come on. Okay, we're gonna increase the resolution now. We're still using the same seed value. We got to keep the aspect ratio the same, and the aspect ratio corresponds to the image that you want to use. Easiest way to do this, I'm using a square on Stable Diffusion, so I'm going to edit this one more time. Square. There we go. That way, as long as length is equal to width, it will work. Easiest way to do that. So, got to make sure I get my sweet Halo 2 shirt there. I miss that shirt so much. If any of y'all got like the old smoking SMG from Halo 2 from like 2006 shirt laying around, I wear a 3XL, so that'd be pretty cool. All right, so we got a nice square image of me here now, so I don't like we're going to use that. So square and square, I am going to increase this resolution to like 700 and 700, and I'm going to give it just a little bit more guidance just to see if it looks even more awesome. I really want to move my talking head here so y'all could, you know what, I could just move the window. You know, like there is that option while it generates. Okay. Hold on, let it cook. Sorry, I say that phrase a lot now. Okay, so that is like a different image entirely. I changed the resolution on it, so that's yeah. All right, we're gonna do one more thing here. Again, we haven't started using ControlNet yet. We're just trying to get an image we like. I am gonna enable the high resolution fix, and I'm gonna use probably ESR 4X. Let's use that one. And I'm gonna upscale it. Let's do 1.5. I always start there. All right, this added it. What the high res fix does is if you try to generate an image of a human, you're gonna get like 2 heads on top of each other, or like 10 fingers, whatnot. The high res fix tries to adapt to that, and it also can upscale images really well. So this will create an even larger image. So notice from 700 by 700, 1400 by 1400. Okay, class, what's 1.5 times 7? We're not doing that, but you get the idea. I could take the denoising down to like 0.4 though. And this will take a couple more seconds. It probably has to download that algorithm, actually. I'm not sure. Let's find out. So we're going to let that run. I think it downloads it once it invokes it. Okay, this is fresh Stable Diffusion. All the videos I've recorded at this point, like you've seen everything I've done in this implementation of Stable Diffusion. Yeah, it's got downloaded the model, but luckily, internet's pretty good here. So should be upscaling it now. And again, the DPM adaptive takes a hot second to actually do stuff with. So we'll let it do its thing. And we can look at the GPU usage too here, because I think that's kind of cool. Actually, it's not even the GPU doing much. It's just, I don't even know what it's doing. I'm running out of memory real fast, though. I know that's a problem. But see how, like, so there was the quote unquote, let's see here. Can we go back? Might have to actually go to the folder here. Where's my folders at? Did I kill the computer? Might kill the computer. Okay, so here's everything we generated so far. This would be like the 700 by 700. So that's the dimensions there. And this is the high res. Notice how we're at 79% zoom right there. 100% zoom right there. And then we get, come on, go over one, 79%. So that's the actual resolution. That's pretty good. So I'm happy with those settings. That should be, again, wish it looked a little bit cooler like that thing, but that's what happens with deterministic values when you change the values, as it changes. So we're going to generate a couple more, just found one we like. Again, just going to randomize it. And again, since everything's installed, give you a feel for exactly how long this takes. If we do the math right there, it's maybe 45 seconds or so. You'll see the DPM adaptive thing do its thing here too. That's a bug, and it keeps going back to the old image. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, so okay, this will look pretty cool. I think we can roll with this. Should be pretty good for me, like throwing up the horns, you know, because I'm that cool, right? Oh God, I'm getting so old. It's fine. It's fine. My joints hurt now. Like everything hurts. I'm just vamping while this generates. So it'll give us an idea of like how long this will take too. Okay, that looks awesome. So I'm going to use that. All right. Let's get the seed value there. We're going to lock that seed value in. Everything on the Stable Diffusion end is set up at this point. Let me expand this here. So where's the refiner, resize with, ControlNet? Where's the seed value thing? Generation. am I being silly? It should be, oh, I am being silly. It's in front of my face. Okay, so now it will always generate that image with these current settings. Next thing we got to do then is actually use the ControlNet settings. So another set of settings, but luckily it looks intimidating, but it's really not. So I laid out everything here. We've already done all this. So Stable Diffusion settings are already done. We got to do the ControlNet settings now. So we are going to drop my image here, right? Okay. We're good on VRAM. We are going to enable, let's see here. We're going to disable the preprocessor. And we're going to enable the pixel perfect. That adds like a little bit of depth mapping to it on a per pixel level. That's not the window I wanted. That is though. So preprocessor, we disabled that. We're going to use the QR monster model. I believe that's under here. So QR monster, and you got all these different settings here. You're supposed to map like 1-to-1 here if you're using a preprocessor. Just for the sake of like my own sanity, I'll go ahead and like use maybe depth, because I think depth is one there. Depth Midas, and see how it wants to use that. So let's not worry about that just yet. Again, this is more just getting started with ControlNet, then we'll really have some fun with it. So we'll just say all, and that should get me back to the QR monster there. Okay, control weight. The higher the number, the more it resembles the image, okay? The lower the weight, the more it resembles the generated image. So this is where we're going to blend them together. I'm going to start at 0.5. Most tutorials for this kind of thing tell you like do 0.2 to 0.3. So it's going to look more like me than the cool lightning. But we'll start at 0.5 and we'll tinker a little bit. All right, monster control weights. I think that's it. I'm trying to remember if there's anything else here. I don't know. Let's just click it and see what happens. Might throw an error. Hopefully everything's set. I've been talking for like 20 minutes, so making sure here. Crop and resize, release, high res functions. Yeah. All right. We're gonna click generate here at the very top. Keeping on our prompt here, or our command line, I should say, not our prompt. And make sure it doesn't throw an error, and we'll see what it generates. Pretty excited for this. Said it's going to generate the lightning image first, and then it should upscale it and then do ControlNet. There's another interface called Comfy UI that lets you specify the order in which these are executed. But I don't know, automatic just gives me more control. Like Comfy UI is pretty cool. It sets it up like a neuron in a neural net, and it does make a lot of sense. I'll eventually do some stuff like videos with Comfy UI as well. I prefer automatic. I don't know. That's a preference. But there's other tools out there too. Okay, so I'm not in there at all. Somebody screwed up something here. Let me double. I turned on ControlNet, right? I'm also gonna kill off the high res fix just to make it go a little faster, so we can debug here. Let's take the control weight up to 0.8. I do feel like I feel like I forgot a preprocessor somewhere. Like I feel like I've forgotten a setting here. Again, we'll try it with let's use Euler A. It goes fast too. See if we can find the error I made first. So that should go pretty fast, and we'll see what that does. We're removing a lot of adaptation stuff here just to see what this does. So yeah, I'm not in there at all. Okay. But what have I forgotten? I think you have to do it on one of these things, not the ControlNet unit 0. Single image batch, multiple inputs, or maybe I have to enable it. Yeah, I have to enable it. That's not for enabling the preprocessor. That's to enable ControlNet. Okay, so let's try one more time. We should get a different image this time. Something just happened there. ControlNet. Okay, cool. Should be working. Yeah, it's working. So you see the command. There we go. So command line's doing its thing there. And if we look over here, you can kind of begin to see it's merging the two together. Again, not great. Love what's going on with my eyes there with the lightning and the clouds though. So let's go back to the original settings that I would prefer here. We use DPM adaptive just for now. We'll leave the high res fix off. And let's take our control. Remember, higher the control weight, the more it's going to look like me. Lower control weight, the more it's going to look like the prompt. So we're going to take that back down and starting control step, ending control step. Making sure there's no other settings I need to mess with there. I'm gonna increase the denoising just a little bit up here, like 0.5. And I'm gonna increase the sampling to 30. Yeah. Again, we're just tweaking it, just trying to figure out like what'll we got everything in place. We just got to make a good looking, well, a cool looking image. I wouldn't say good looking, but actually, yeah, I would. I'm pretty narcissistic like that. Yeah, like that's why I got the floating head there. Is I just like looking at me. Again, oh man, I really shouldn't do this. I should just edit all this stuff out while it generates, but like I don't know, like you're getting the true classroom experience from me here, but I'm just doing basic YouTube tutorials. This is literally like how I teach stuff. So come take my data science classes. We will learn that your linear regression is drawing a line through the data. You can kind of see my hair there. Like so. Let me see if I can overlay the original image here. Download. No, it's under desktop there. You can kind of. I mean, it's barely there, but you can kind of see it. Like you see like my hair forming right there. So we gotta tweak it just a little bit more. Again, that's where this is more of an art than a science. Is just figuring out what works. We're gonna enable the high res fix. Take a little bit longer still. I'm gonna take it down to Euler adaptive though, because that'll reduce the time by a lot. ControlNet. Let's increase the ControlNet weight to like 0.5. Crop and resize. My prompt is more important. Let's do my prompt is more important. No, let's do ControlNet is more important. So it's weighted equally. Again, you get a feel for just like you're not gonna break it if you play with these settings. Like worst case scenario, just like those settings don't work, idiot. If any of y'all watch WWE, by the way, there's a character Bailey that she always calls people idiots when she's on the microphone. So I'm like, you idiots. So Bailey, I don't know if you're watching this or not, but I love you, and I love that you. Well, I don't want to spoil anything for the WWE if y'all watch that. You've probably seen wrestling. Again, I'm just vamping while it generates. So yeah. As a side note, there though, I truly did not expect WWE to be what it was. I thought professional wrestling was like macho UFC type stuff, and oh my god, there is so much pageantry. And the trash talk is just amazing. So yes, if you get a chance, I highly, as someone that enjoys theater and dramaticisms, WWE is worth a watch. That actually looks really cool because, like, okay, I really like the way this turned out because it's turning my face and my hair into the smoke from the volcano. I'm not that visible yet, but we got exactly what we're gonna tune this just a little bit more here, and I might edit it to show you the final settings here. But that's awesome. So we're getting there. Crop and resize. I'm going to what else am I gonna do here? Gotta keep the seed value the same. Upscaler, we want to keep that same. Higher steps. Let's give it 35 steps maybe, and let's take denoising up to 0.6. So what that does, sampling, that's how many times it iterates through the image, and then denoising, that's if you've ever, God, you are probably too young to know what a cathode ray tube TV is, a CRT. Big old school TV. You see them at retro gaming stores. There was a degauss button that went whoop, and it made all the static discharge. Same concept for denoising, but it takes like staticky images. So if you've ever shot a photo in low light, you probably see like the graininess of it. That's what that's doing on the high res upscale. So if you've taken it, I just show you actually while that runs. So if we take a basic image here and we start zooming in on it, like zoom and enhance, zoom and enhance, zoom and enhance, you begin to see like this artifacting happening. Denoising smooths out that artifacting. So that's that's what we're dealing with here. Sorry for going like all ultra like zoom on y'all there, but yeah. Okay, again, this is so I should let me go over to my image folder here too. Web UI, Stable Diffusion, output, text images. So you see how like we're getting there. That was the base image, right? And now we're adding myself. Like, see, we're getting there. Try to figure. I need more of me in there, so I'm gonna take this up to like 0.9 maybe. And is there anything else I can do there? I don't want to mess with any of these settings because it might change the image slightly, and I really think I think this is a cool image. I'm gonna take the denoising down actually to 0.3. Because I think that's overriding some of the ControlNet stuff. So again, sorry y'all got to hear me vamp just a little bit longer here. But I wonder if that ever loaded. Nope. Excuse me. Oh, this is gonna be a winner, I think. Oh, and went back to the old one still. Yeah. This is gonna be cool. So again, you can watch 2 or 3 minute tutorials that'll guide you straight through how to do this, but like I'm doing it in real time. I'm not gonna edit it, despite my threats to edit it. So you can see all the mistakes that I've made. I'll probably end it on this image, but you've got an idea for how to get it set up, how to start messing with it, and how to fine tune it to get the results you want. Because I could keep messing with this for like another hour, just to like fine tune it to get what I want. But yeah, we'll let this load here. I'm keeping this on the side just because the Python stuff's over here where my talking head is. All right, so that's our final image there. God, I really want to get my face in there though. Let me do one more. I'm gonna change it to DPM DPM adaptive. That's the upscaler. Euler, there it is. DPM adaptive, right there, friend. Let's take denoising down to, you know what? I'm gonna turn off the upscaler entirely, actually. We'll use DPM adaptive without upscaling, and let's see if that gives us the same. That should actually do it. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. We'll see. We'll see. So that you all could have stopped about 10 minutes ago on the video once you got everything set up and started tweaking it, but now I'm just showing you the effects of like fine tuning the image stuff. So you can see, like, again, this is everything we've generated today, actually. And you can see how like that looks real. I mean, that just looks cool though. It's like, so that's where I had my hands up, thrown up. Oh, sorry, y'all can't see that. I had my hands up and it turned it into like stones. So again, that one's pretty cool too. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, that looks awesome though. That, right? Like, okay, you get the idea. So that's a very easy starting intro point for ControlNet. We'll recap real quick. By the way, it's called serial positioning effect. I showed you what I was going to do. I start with like a drug commercial. I tell you all the great benefits and the thing that this cures. The middle of the commercial is all the side effects up to and including death. And then it ends with like, call your pharmacist today and see if it's right for you. So serial positioning effect, it's a psychological manipulation technique. I start and end things with it. So I'm going to end with what I started with as well. So we started with this image right here. Then I used like the Hubble ultra deep space generation there, and that created that. Then we went through the exact same process, set up a Stable Diffusion so that we could, you think a smarter person than me, there we go, generate these different images right here. So that's, again, they're not perfect, but I think they're pretty cool. And it gives you a starting point to start doing some pretty creative stuff that would take hours, or at least for a non-artistic person like me. It would take me hours to do this kind of stuff in Photoshop. And I actually know how to layer stuff in Photoshop too. So that's my pitch with Stable Diffusion, basis of ControlNet. Big things, download the models. Links are in the bottom. Download the ControlNet model, download ControlNet itself, enable it, and then come up with a prompt you like. That's what we did up here. Figure out the settings you like to start with. Turn on the ControlNet, enable the model, and tinker with it. That's the best advice I can tell you. Hopefully y'all found this useful, fun, cool. I don't know. If you liked it, I'll say the thing without irony. Like and subscribe, I guess. It hurts my soul to say stuff like that. So, if you liked it, because again, it'd be cool if I could monetize this channel, but I mean, YouTube wants like 500 subscribers or something, and I am not that cool. So I just end on that note. So I'll see y'all in the next tutorial, which will probably be like actually posing with ControlNet. So have a good one. Later, taters.